So we're going to bring up a couple of members that are on their journey. So first we have Kameron here. Kameron, come on up.
Hey, man.
Are you going to be alone tonight, Kameron?
Pardon me?
You going to be alone tonight?
Yeah, just
Okay.
Me.
So Kameron is
Did he? Let me.
There we
There you
go.
go. And
I'm ready.
hold up high, brother.
Cameron's
Nice,
recently
nice.
married. There we go. Cameron's recently married, but his wife is a little shy, so she's not going to join us up here. But you can wave to her over there in the corner. So.
Oh, now I can tell you both apart. Your brother's bald.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Cameron has a twin brother who's done a case study
Of course.
what, about a year and a half ago or so?
Had to be, yeah, just about
Now,
a year
my
ago.
question to you is, he's here every single case study. It's your night, and he's not here tonight.
That is so true. He's online over there. What's going on, Keith?
Hey,
Maybe it's the same person. They're dressing up different.
I know, right?
just-
Nah, yeah, he had to stay from home. We're working late, so the 9 to
right.
5 get the best days sometimes.
Keenan, I'm really upset that you're not here tonight. You were here for his case study, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
Online, feel bad about that, Keenan. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself, and I see your lovely bride in the picture there.
Of course.
And so tell us a little bit about you and how you found Lifestyles.
And so I actually found Lifestyles, to Sorrell's point, from my brother, right? He was looking into trying to invest in real estate, and something we always really wanted to do as we graduated from high school and entered into college. And he had actually stumbled upon Lifestyles through a relative of mine that introduced him to the Lifestyles Unlimited group. So she actually wasn't a member, but she just heard of it and said, hey, I think it's a great program for you to learn how to invest. So just look up, how to get involved and go become a member. And that's what he did. And shortly after I joined him, when he got his first property, and I was like, I need to catch up. I can't get too far behind. And so I came and started to learn more from Lifestyles and bought my first property in 2022.
And who's the older brother?
So I'm actually the oldest by 4 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So
You couldn't let
slight amount of time, but I made up the difference.
Let your younger
Cut it
brother
out.
out
And
there.
what do you do? What do you do for a living, so they know?
So I'm a commercial banker, and
So
so
you know numbers.
And yeah, I definitely know
You were a
numbers.
banker back when your brother bought his first property, or no?
I was, yeah.
So you knew numbers better, but he bought it first.
Yeah,
Just
so
saying.
action is everything, right? So he took the action. I knew the numbers, and I was like, hey, yeah, it's not a good idea, continue to move forward. But and I'll talk about it later, but it's really taking that action that makes all the difference. But he definitely did it first, so.
And so what's this picture in the middle? I got to know what that is.
Okay, so me and my wife actually recently did a High Rocks competition. It's a competition that became very popular here in the States. I want to say about roughly a year and a half ago. And she actually got me involved into it. It's 6 miles of running total, and it's 10 different exercises in between a mile apiece. And so you do a mile, and then you do exercise and a mile, and so on and so forth, till you get to the end. It literally took us an hour and 15 minutes to
And
complete.
I'll bet you she's better at it than you, isn't she?
Yeah, just a
can
little
tell.
bit. So
You're all
she's
sweaty and she isn't.
yeah, my body was a little bad that day, but she's a lot better at the running part, and I just pick up some of the things I can't do on the fitness end and try to balance things out. But
It's a team.
of course, yeah, it's a team effort. So again, that's an hour 15 together. So just imagine doing it by yourself.
Okay. So how did you find Lifestyle? You said your brother. So tell us why you decided to join, not just the competition, but there had to be other reasons also.
Of course. And so what really motivated me was really seeing my brother take the first step and seeing him being able to say, hey, man, it's not as hard as it looks. There's a team involved. And that's one of the things that I think is so pivotal to the Lifestyles program is being able to understand the value of a team and leveraging them throughout the whole entire process. But it just gave me that confidence to see that he could do it. And when you look around and you see all the other members that are participating in investing in real estate, you start to think like, what do all these people got in common that I don't have, right? And so eventually you have to encourage yourself to say, hey, it's possible for me. And so I made that first step and never looked back.
Okay, and you say here you wanted to grow your wealth exponentially.
Of course,
I
of
love
course,
that,
of
that
course.
word. Retire early.
Yeah, so bankers got buzzwords all over the place. So yeah, exponentially is kind of the key, right? And so not to try to think like get one house at a time and build it up, trying to think, okay, how can I turn 1 into 2 and 2 into 3 and so on and so forth.
I got a real quick question, because you're a banker.
Of course.
You guys believe in all that stock market crap, right?
To an
And
extent.
you're investing in what?
Real estate.
Am I right?
Yeah. I had a little education on the stock market end before I got in. I was actually going to be personal financial planner at one
good.
point, right?
So, you know, when you sit down with people one-on-one, say, yeah, go to Lifestyles.
yeah, not knowing what I know now in hindsight, yeah, I definitely was going to say that. But I actually made a pivot because of what I learned, right?
go.
And just the volatility within the market. And I was just like, yeah, got to be another way. And so that's what made me stumble upon real estate and business.
All right.
Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about a house that you bought in Texas City. And for those of you watching online, Texas City is a suburb of Houston, down toward Galveston. So it's what 40 miles, 50 miles from downtown Houston, I guess?
Oh, of course, yeah. We'll say a little further than that for me.
A little further than you, right. So this is the property. You got the before picture. Look like that's the back of the house, and then afterwards. So you did some work on the exterior of the house also.
Of course.
And then on
Why is the first picture of her backside?
So, I just say, yeah, that was the picture that just came out the Rolodex. So.
all right, so, and then in the inside, so this is a before and after in this same room, and you can see the difference. And what Lifestyles teaches is you want to look at all the comparable sales, comparable rentals. We want to have the best property in the neighborhood.
Of course.
So we build our scope of work, what's going to be done. We buy these distressed properties, and we want to fix them up to be the best property in the neighborhood. And anybody that's a Lifestyles member that does single-family properties, at some point when you're at your property, the rehab's going on, or you're showing the property, some of the neighbors will come by and tell you how nice this house looks and how that they appreciate
So,
the
Sorrell,
fact that-
did you help mentor him on this at all? Or?
We talked a couple of
course,
times.
My question is,
Once or twice, right?
why didn't you tell him to keep the yellow shag carpet?
I tried to get him to do that. I mean,
Ironically enough, that was in the first house. So that's in the
One of the rooms?
that's in Bay City. This one's Texas City right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the other
this-
photo.
okay.
No, you're fine. You're fine. That's another property, but
yeah.
that actually was done through Lifestyles model as well. So that was
Okay.
my first property actually.
I tried to get him to keep the yellow shag.
But yeah, that was the transition with the first one. Yeah, when I walked in, I just was like, hey, let's just transition it out, make it more
And
modern.
you're like,
of
hey, my
course.
parents made me with that color carpet.
It had to go. It had to go.
Too
That
far?
wasn't gonna fit.
Too far.
I'm not that old yet. So yeah, this is
cut.
Next.
this is Texas City one right here. He too funny.
Okay.
Huh?
I've been working with this guy for 3 years, and I get through this. Okay, so let's look at the numbers. So,
Of course.
when you bought this property, after repaired value, we're looking at properties, and David's going to go through this weekend about hard money loans to buy the property, get some of the rehab in there, and then you refinance into a 30-year conventional loan. But you were able to buy the property. It was valued at $220,000, but like David said, we're buying these properties for a fraction of the cost.
Of course.
And so you bought this property for $115,000. You put over $51,000 into the rehab. And then there's some closing costs and other costs because there's actually 2 loans, which David will cover those in detail. But you ended up with $35,000 in equity capture after all the purchase and both of the loans were closed.
Of course.
And your out-of-pocket was $27,492. So on the bottom right side, they gave you an equity capture of 130%.
Oh yeah.
So
Real nice.
And then your rent $1,600. Cash flow is $239. That's a 10.4% cash-on-cash return. David said we're looking for cash returns between 8 and 30%. So 10.4%. So
Can't wait for that 30%.
He just
Can't
was
wait.
about those numbers.
it's not my house.
This young guy made over 100% return. Give him a hand. That's huge.
Thank you.
Remember when I sat there and said with the Monopoly story, we'll make between $200 to $600, and our goal is to double our money. Remember that? Did he do just that? And I said it takes about 30 grand to buy a house. What did it cost him? A little bit under that. Can it be done?
Oh yeah.
Give him a hand.
Thank you.
And Kameron said he pivoted from his goal, his working toward being a financial planner. Had you been a financial planner, can someone walk in here and say, I have about $27,000. I want to invest that in the market, and I want you to immediately double that and also give me 10% annual cash flow.
Not even close.
Wait. And I want it to be tax-free.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
But wait, there's more.
I know, right?
All right. So
It'd be a good person financial planner though if they can do that. I'm gonna keep them in your back pocket. But the actual rehab and the after repair value had jumped up. So originally it was expected to be $214,000, and on the refinance it ended up jumping up by $6,000.
yeah.
And now, because remember that, it takes a couple months to fix it up, but remember, we have appreciation of probably 10% a year, so a couple months later, it went up a little bit in value. Does that make sense? between the two loans.
Good point, and I'm glad you mentioned that, David.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at this.
When the that's true, that's true. When I went under contract, there was about a month period where the current owner had to move out, and so I think that time allowed the market to appreciate as well, and so that came to my benefit at the end on the refinance.
Okay. Now, how did you find this property?
So I actually found this through the Lifestyles blast, the email blast through Moon Kim.
And for those of you that are brand new, he has the ability to work with Lifestyles realtors. There are realtors that go out and source these types of properties. It's hard to find these distressed properties and get these things moving quickly like this. So Lifestyles has realtors here in Houston, but for everybody watching online, we're in 7 different states, and we have Lifestyles Realty in 7 different states. So like David said, live where you want, invest where it makes sense, and you can do this all over the country.
And I'll explain this in detail this weekend, but really quick snapshot. It's a one-page document. It got emailed in his email. He's sitting there in his underwear, right? And he sees an email that says, you can pay about $28,000 out of pocket to make about $35,000 return, over 100% return. Who'd like that in their emails every day? We'll come this weekend, we'll show you how you can do that, okay?
And there's plenty of property blasts that come out. Ever since I even closed on my last house just recently, it's been like so many blasts. I'm like,
Tens of them all the
yeah,
time.
jeez.
Are there any Lifestyles realtors in the audience here?
Ah, come on.
None of my realtors?
Too busy selling
Where are
property.
you?
isn't it? Sending those email blasts. It's probably
Yeah, sending out blasts. Okay.
definitely doing it.
And so this was your second property, or your first property. This was your.
Did my second.
This is your second.
Yeah,
so
the Texas City was
You've
second.
done 2 properties and already finished. You've already completed 2 properties.
Correct.
And the same thing. You have cash from this one we're showing here, 2,800. This is the one we're doing tonight. You have a previous property that's 3,000 cash flow and 21,000 of equity. And you just closed on a third property, and you're in rehab on that one right now. So
Correct. Yeah, closed
you're
last
not
Thursday.
Sitting still. You are moving now.
Yeah,
So.
trying to do my best. Yeah, trying to keep the momentum going.
Okay.
So what's my job? To ruin his career, and he's always in rehab.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely in rehab for sure.
Okay, and so all total, once you get this third one up and running, we're estimating some numbers there, but you're going to have over $8,000 in additional cash flow and $78,000 of equity capture. So great job on those properties.
Thank you. Thank you.
Give him a hand, that's huge, guys.
So we've asked you, how is Lifestyles, how is it changing your life, is a better way to put this, since you're still out there doing it. So, and tell us what you said when I asked you this question here. So.
As I mentioned, it helped me gain the confidence in watching others do it, right, and seeing all the members of Lifestyles buying properties and continue to build their wealth. But I think that it's a key element to pay attention to success, because as people succeed, they leave a lot of clues for you to follow, right? And so don't try to create your own will, right, and try to make something new out of Lifestyles or investing in real estate. Just try to follow the map, and you'll realize that it's easier than you may think.
Yeah, and I love when you said success leaves clues. If this is yours, you need to copyright that.
Oh, it's definitely not mine. Yeah, somebody much wiser than me told me that.
I never heard that, but I love that line. So, and
I learned that as a banker.
Okay, all right. So, and tell us,
more than just numbers.
what's going on next. What's your short-term goals and your long-term goals?
And so the short-term goal is to continue to build up the single-family portfolio, but I'm quickly learning to figure out the plan to develop into multifamily investing, because I'm excited again to capture all that equity and transition it over. But again, like I said, success leaves clues, so to continue to learn as I acquired the single families.
Okay. And let's talk about who's on your team. I know you and I have talked a bunch.
Of course.
A little bit or bunch. How would you say that?
I would say a fair amount. I really say I can lean on you more, right?
Absolutely.
I think the biggest thing that's role and all mentors always say is call them whenever you have a question, right? Don't hesitate. But I think a lot of people just kind of get a little tight about asking someone for advice and it exposing what you did or did not do, right? And then so you got to learn and humble yourself and say, hey, let me just ask the question, right? And get the wisdom and take advantage of it instead of thinking that, oh, I can figure it out if I just keep trying to pull at it. But it all works itself out at the end if you stay studying. And
Yeah, but what all the
what you're
mentors will
told.
tell you, everybody here and everybody online watching, when you have a membership that has mentorship, whether single family or multifamily, call us anytime you have a question. Do not hesitate to reach out. I'd rather you call me 10 times a day and ask me what you might think is I don't want you to use the word stupid question, but any question whatsoever. I'd rather you do that than skip it, think you know it, found a better way, and then you end up making a mistake that costs you money. And I don't know all the answers. I've learned everything from lifestyles, and also then we have a whole team of other mentors we can pull from, and then we go to Life Changers. We go to Lynn Murrow if we need to. Dell is mentoring again, so we will find the right answers for you. And so never ever hesitate to reach out. And I know I talk to Cameron a lot, and I always encourage him to reach out to me, and anytime he had questions. So Moon Kim is the realtor. You found this
Yeah,
property
for
through
all
Eagle
three
Glass.
properties actually.
Well, watch
Yeah,
this.
Moon
Has
Kim,
anybody bought a property from Moon Kim in this room? See that? That's how many people work with him. So.
Yeah. Moon is one of the top agents in the greater Houston area. He's the top agent out of 45,000 agents in the greater Houston
Number
area.
one.
And our entire team of realtors absolutely know what they're doing. This is true for realtors in all the cities where Lifestyles has realty offices. They specialize in finding these types of distressed properties, running some quick numbers on them just to get the basic information out to you. Then it's up to you to fully evaluate the property before you make an offer on it. But they're bringing these types of properties to you that most people are not going to be able to find on their own. So we really get involved with those Lifestyles realtors. And then the rest of the people on your team, you worked with some other vendors. So these are your lenders down here?
Correct. So Red Door Funding I use for both properties, actually all three properties, and they've been really helpful on the hard money side. And then Empirical Mortgage, I used them for the last two properties. And then Will Fitz is my lender that I work with, and he's been very helpful with just making sure the process runs smoothly. And then Pat Inspection, I've used him on several properties. Actually, there was two properties that I actually did an inspection on I didn't end up going with. Still use Pat. He's great as well.
Sometimes it's good to walk away.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, Pat, keep you on. They let you know if it's something you need to walk away from or keep it. But again, I always trust him to give me great advice and tell me what I need to hear, not what I want to hear. And then A plus quality remodeling is helping me. She helped me on the first one, and then she's also helped me on the last one here, the Friar Point.
Okay. Do we have any questions for Cameron here?
Yeah, we'll take one or two in the room. There's one right back
Okay.
there. The question is, how did you go about marketing the house when it came time to rent it?
Did you rent it yourself, first of all?
Yes. So the first one I rented it by myself. The second one I leveraged a real estate agent to help me lease. But I would say it's very possible to do it by yourself. I think the biggest outlier is just like the travel time. If it's a property that's close to you, definitely rent it yourself. If it's not close to you, then you might want to leverage a real estate agent. But the best way I've learned to market is putting that sign in the yard and put your number on it, and people will definitely call. And then also I market on Facebook Marketplace or Zillow online. I've gotten the most success from that sign in the yard in Facebook Marketplace.
And if you come to this seminar this week, and I spent about a half hour on that exact subject, how to market it with all the different websites and all the ways to do it every step.
Yeah, but it won't be a lack of interest if your price is right.
Exactly.
One right here.
Quick one, are you in town? Or
So I actually live in Waller, Texas. And so, yeah, I have one in Texas City that's an hour and a half from me. Bay City, hour and a half from me. The Houston one is the closest. It's about an hour from me. But again, I want to go where the opportunities are, right? And I'm willing to drive. But I've quickly learned that, which is one thing that I think is a light bulb moment for me, I was going to mention, was that it's the power of the team, right? So being able to develop a team of people that can help you no matter where you're located and trusting them to do great work and they're very responsive makes it very easy to work remote.
And I want you to understand what he said, what was so powerful. The numbers are telling him the story. If there's more opportunity in an area away from him, he doesn't care about the distance, he cares about the return.
Correct,
And he formed a team. What were you gonna say, Sir?
I was going to say the same thing. It's very
sorry.
powerful. I spoke to a member in the last 2 days, brand new, just getting started, and I don't remember he lives in Waller, which is far northwest.
Yeah, like Cypress.
Texas
going to
City
Cypress.
is far southeast. You can't get any further in the greater Houston area.
Yeah,
I spoke to a member who lived some part of town, and he wanted properties close to him. And you follow the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, you may drive to the property a few times as you're looking at properties, evaluating, working with contractors, and then, but after that, you're not at the property every month or anything like that.
Get
So-
the updated photos. Like, again, that power of the contractor and that team. Like, if they're willing to give you the photos consistently and you can see all areas of the house and you can just say, hey, walk me over here, walk me to the corner, right? When you go to it that first time, you know where the bodies are buried. So you're like, hey, take me to that corner and see if that got done. But you encourage you to walk you around, you'll definitely get what you need.
Okay, David, we have anything online?
Yeah, this guy Keenan,
That's his brother, for people that don't know.
all caps, he's yelling.
All
I'm
cap-
his-
okay.
I'm his brother. Tell him I'm at 12,000 a year in cash flow and over 175,000
Oh, snap!
He did that. Wow.
across my 3 properties. Keep it up, big bro.
Yeah.
Wow, just like steps on his
He
neck.
had the one of me, huh? Okay, I got you. Got you.
Kenan, it's not his time in the spotlight. Just
Yeah, I bet.
This is Cameron's time in the spotlight.
Great question.
You just told him.
Okay. Any other questions online?
So one last one.
Greg had a question.
Greg has a question, quick.
Curious, your first property, how were your estimates? Did they come out pretty close?
So the question, I'm going to repeat it for the people online. His question was, when you did that first property, how close were your estimates to the actual numbers in the end?
So the after repair value on that one, I believe, originally was 170, right? And then it actually jumped up to 175, 177 when I refinanced on the conventional. And I think that's just kind of like the timing of the rehab. Sometimes if your rehab is a little bit longer, you get that appreciation in the market just quite naturally. But now it's, over 200,000 in
And
that
what about
house
your
in 2
rehab? Did it
years.
stay pretty much on budget? From
The rehab could have been better on staying on budget. I had a little bit of cost overruns on the plumbing, but again, I knew that up front, and that was the decision I chose to make, right? To say, okay, I'll just float that outside of the renovations just to not make the money up front.
And that's what our mentors say. Hey, we're going to put an extra 10% in there for contingencies because
Correct.
things do happen.
The second one I did put the contingencies, and this last one I put the contingencies.
And the one
because of
thing
that.
too is that when you get the initial numbers from the realtor, those are estimates.
Correct.
And this is not. You don't look at a quest as a tool we use to evaluate our properties. You don't look at a quest from a realtor and thinking this is it. It's all
It's
go.
kill a
Let's
deal,
go.
yeah.
Then you do your due diligence, and you
course.
now evaluate everything, and you
And we're
run
gonna teach
through
you how to
all
do
the
all that.
numbers. And then before you make a decision to move forward and put down a non-refundable deposit, you will have some more concrete numbers. So-
Of course.
Greg's question was, how was the numbers from the initial? I don't know if he meant the initial realtor quest or whatever, but from once you do your due diligence,
My
you get
numbers,
your
yeah.
numbers. You shouldn't see a lot of variance there. It may be variance from.
It's funny, as I said, I was going to mention, a lot of times you do the numbers, and some are higher and some are lower, and it all works itself out every time.
Not
It's
always.
well, not I say
Not always.
my last 3 times, I agree.
No, it works
But
out.
if you're conservative,
Listen to a mentor.
Exactly.
of course. So let me
Really
rephrase
mitigate
it. So if you're conservative on your
David,
numbers,
You have to ask one more question over
yeah,
there.
Really important question. Are opportunities less in today's economy?
Great question. Are opportunities less than in today's economy? So I'm not going to answer that. You're a member.
Of course.
And you get these email blasts. Now, I get them from all different states. You probably get them from just Houston. Have we sent out any deals in the past week? Maybe one or how
Oh
many?
yeah, I've probably seen 5 this week, 1 a day. Yeah.
If you could get a deal every single day in
Minimum.
your box that you could buy where you could make 100% return, is that pretty good?
Oh yeah.
And remember, we're doing this in multiple markets. So, yes, there's deals right now.
When did you go into contract on this third one that you're in rehab?
Last week, so March 31st.
So he just got a deal March 31st.
Yeah.
Is that a long time
And it
ago?
was plenty to look at.
Now, we don't have all the numbers on that one yet because it's not finished.
Of course.
That's the one he's in rehab.
Okay. Well, thank you very much,
Give him a hand.
Cameron.
Thank you.
Give him a hand.